Hello, everyone. We have a little something different today. Um, I did not record an episode for 2 days, and so I was like, maybe I should do something a little different because I was busy, so I needed to do something else. Um, Make up for it. I'm gonna do 2 episodes today. This first one is going to be a tutorial video, so we're going to, yeah, do that. So 100-year war mod. The very first thing that when you spawn in, and that you get is this book right here. It is the manual. This tells you very basically how this mod works. There's a little bit more to the systems and the jankiness of it that you'll find out as you play, but uh, this is the basics of it. You will also be able to see it if you hold your button. Usually it's Alt when it's first bound. There's this open manual target, and then you can also read it through here. So this book is not necessary. The next thing that isn't really necessary that I found is this, the command staff. It's more useful for when you're summoning hostile units, but you know, it's something you could build in survival. It's kind of weird. Don't really need it. This command staff, people argue whether or not this is useful. Um, but I think it's a little useful after playing with it a little bit, but we'll get into that later. So for now, we're just gonna put this in here. So when you first start out on this mod, right? What do you want to do? You want an army. So when you build an army, first grab your recruitment tab, and then you look through this and go, wow, there is so much stuff here. I really wish uh, I knew what each was. Well, sick. We're about to explain. First category right here is your military infantry. So you have your militia, your shieldmen, your warriors, and your spearmen. I found that the warriors and spearmen are less customizable than just straight up the militia, because the militia is able to equip weapons from other mods, and if you have something like Better Combat or Epic Fight installed, they can equip those weapons instead. I think the warrior should get something like that, but yeah, like the militia can hold great swords, but the warriors can't. It's kind of weird. So most of the time, whenever I summon units, I usually just end up summoning the militia or the shieldmen, because the shieldmen are the only ones that can carry shields. So these guys are especially tanky. So I use these for my front line. Then you have your cavalry. These guys are going to be on your horses. Uh, so keep that in mind whenever you have them. Lancer cavalry. So Lancer cavalry, their lance can only be equipped to them from having it. They can't be given a lance from another mod. It's kind of weird. So keep that in mind whenever you're doing Lancer stuff. Then you have your ranged infantry. You have your archers. Archers are not affected, as far as I know, by modded bows. They're infected by enchantments. So whenever you give them a modded bow, they're not going to do more damage. But I believe modded enchantments will change the bow because it's still affecting the arrow. So keep that in mind. I will need to do more testing on that, but yeah. Very similar with crossbowmen. But these guys have crossbows instead. Uh, it's they're very similar. I mean, it's just the difference between a crossbow and an archer. I don't think these guys can shoot fireworks though. Next, you have your handgunner. These guys do damage. They shoot in a straight line instead of at an arch like archers do. Uh, so they're good. There's also the matchlock, very similar. Um, Something about archers as well. They will also be able to shoot in an arc. If they cannot get a direct line of sight to something, what they will do is they will look up and they will fire into the air, and they will hit targets that way. It's way less effective, but when there's 15 archers, they will eventually hit the target. Uh, after that, oh, after that we have ranged cavalry, same thing. Then we get into our siege weapons. Siege weapons are very different in their use cases. Uh, we can get into that when we start spawning in units, but the way you use these are different. Um, there's a lot of them, and the way they work uh varies. So what they're good at is different. Then you get into your workers. These are if you don't have any mods that give you resources, like your create mod or any other tech mod that can farm you resources. These guys are going to be what you use. Lumberjacks farm wood. These guys farm animals. Or wait, no, these guys farm plants. These do animals. These are miners. Fishermen. Fishermen are special because they will also fish up enchantments. They're uh, anything that is in the loot table for water is what they will fish up. So keep that in mind. They cannot be given other enchanted fishing rods. So that just having more fishermen is your better odds of getting something else. And then your transport workers and craftsmen. Transport workers need supply lines. Like they need to be told to do things. I will showcase that later, but these guys are going to be how all of these guys really work with each other to make a big cohesive uh like thing. And then you have your special units. In 121, there is the priest, the horse, and the mercenary mage. The priest and the horse are you will always have the access to these. So don't worry about that. And the priest also will have access to this. They will always have access. But the mercenary mage is only accessible if you have the iron spells mod installed as well. It will only show up if you have it installed. There is another mod that is also compatible with 100 Year War, but that is the Tax Z mod. But that is only usable if you are in the 120.1 version, because Tax Z is in that version and not in 121. And for this showcase, we are in the 121 version because I want to be using aeronautics, which is another integration that the mod has. It fully works with aeronautics. There's a video on YDM Sama's YouTube about him showcasing the mod working with aeronautics. So go ahead and go over there and watch that. I'm sure you've watched it before you've watched this video, so yeah. So the first worker that we're going to go over before we get into any of the units, right? Like the real nice stuff. This is what is going to be important for you for your survival. So these are very important, guys, and there's a lot of questions that end up getting asked in the Discord about it. So your farmer. The way the farms work is that this area right here, which is adjustable, is where the farmers will work. If you go into here and adjust the range, you can go ahead and tell them to make it longer, and they will start tilling the land slowly, depending on how many farmers are here, this area. And then when a plant is grown, they also will have a chance during that tick to farm, like collect these plants. So when everything is tilled, they will slowly collect these plants in only this area, not the block below it, in this area. So keep that in mind whenever you make your farms. When it is collected, it is placed into this workstation, which after that, you can get a hopper, right? Just go in creative mode. Get a hopper, and it'll start going out of the workstation into this hopper. And then you can do hopper things, which includes for any type of transportation block. Anything that can take something out of an inventory, like any of your tech mods, can take it out of the workstation and out and into whatever inventory it needs to go to. So keep that in mind whenever you're doing stuff. But yeah, this is how the farmer works. Very basic, very easy. I don't think you can give him bone meal. Oh, you can actually give him bone meal. Oh wait, no, it's just coming out. Oh, actually, I think the bone meal does work. Never mind. Yeah, they will slowly bone mail things. Just make sure that whatever you have is not is not filtering the bone mail out. So that's how those work. Next, we have the lumberjack. So the lumberjack, very similar to the farmer, interacts with the block that is above the grass. This is what it cares about right here. So it'll take any oak sapling or any saplings that are in here, and they will place them onto the the area. And then whenever a tree is spawned, it'll mine the whole tree down. So lumberjacks, they will when a tree grows, it'll chop that block that's above it, and it'll start working up. And as soon as the last block for the tree is gone, it'll mine out the bottom one. And then it'll place it in this inventory, and it works exactly like that one. So, uh, bone meal works the same. All right, so now we're gonna get into the miners. Miners are a little different, in the way that any block that is within their range, they will mine out the area. My only problem with miners is that when you adjust their range to work, they will only go down 50, 50 blocks, which is a lot of blocks for an area, right? But that is not enough blocks to go all the way down to bedrock. So what you have to do is you have to set up multiple mining workstations as you go down further and further, um, which will give you a thing. What I found them to be useful for, actually, instead of just as mining, is poking a hole into cave systems underground. They're very useful for doing that because when you get like 5 miners down, they mine down relatively quickly, and so while you're working on other things, they will poke a hole into that cave where you're able to go mining. In my actual YouTube series, you see that by there's a hole right in Outpost Millennium, and I use that hole to get into the cave system down there. That's where I get all of the resources from, and then come back and do everything else. It's much more efficient to do it yourself because they can't get looting. Or not looting, fortune. So they just have base rates for stuff. So use them how you want to. You can also angle them upwards instead of down. So you're able to mine up instead, which is useful for its own thing, but yeah, just keep that in mind whenever you're using miners. They're a little weird. After that, you have the breeding station. So, the sheep in here, right? What will happen to these sheep is that when given wheat, they will breed these sheep. And the moment that they get over this specified number of max animals, they will kill that animal, the adult animal, and then put its resources into the breeding station. If you want to keep breeding, you need to way to make sure that this wheat is not pulled out by whatever thing that is going to be transferring things. Um, and there is a way to transfer things within the mod, actually, which we will get to very soon after we get to the fishing station. So we have our fisherman, right? And his job is he's going to pull from this area. It's a specified amount, right? And he is going to get that area and pull all of its the fishing resources into this workstation. Very easy, very simple. Not too much about it. Once again, cannot be given a different thing in order to make it the rates different. So always keep that in mind with your workers. So next we have the crafters. The crafters are a little different. They have this area right here, right? The way that the crafters work is that you are going to put a recipe in this area. You're going to take your item that you want to get the materials for the item, and you're going to place it by left clicking into the inventory slot, and then it's going to come out with the completed item. If you want to not have that, you're going to right click that item instead, and it's going to do that. Anything that you do in here, if you want to save your stuff, you have to hit apply. Otherwise, it won't keep. It'll take the items out of this inventory in order to craft these items. And they will do it slowly over time, like everything else will. And that is how the crafters work. All right, so next on our list, we have the transport worker. So the transport worker is going to take this right here, which is the transport order. Um, and what you're going to do when you first get the transport order is you're going to press whatever button it is of a base it's V, and you're going to bind it to the workstation. After that, any inventory, any inventory within that area, you are able to press V again and bind the work order to those places. And now you are able to either withdraw or deposit those specific items that you have in here into these this workstation. And now uh once they are put in here, um from whatever, because it is currently taking out all the items in here right now, and the other places. It's kind of moving them all around. It is going to put them into this workstation, and then you can do with whatever you want with it as well. So, so transport workers, you can do it. There's very, very complex chains of transport that you can do that automates like the whole process. So you can take from a farm, right? And then you could put a transport order in from that farm into the crafting workstation to make bread. That bread can then be sent to a supply point, which then uh, makes so the supply. I believe you could also send it into something like a composter, right? No, never mind. So yeah, it'll make supply, and then you could put the seeds at anywhere else. Which then, I mean, you could have them hopper into a composter, and then the hopper out into a another chest with the bone meal, and then bone meal, and then send it back to the farm or like choose whatever. Yeah, it's there's a lot of things here you can do with it. So pretty easy overall, not too bad. So that is all of the workers. It's like the meat and potatoes of your automation for your nation. Um, so keep that in mind. Your top priority, though, for workers is your farmer. Your farm has to be good. Uh, because if your farm is not good enough, then you are not going to have enough supply, and then your stuff is going to fall apart. What you could do is just hopper it directly into a supply point, and you'll never have an issue. Anything else that you need from there is up to you. Let's start talking about the military. The real reason why you're actually playing this mod, right? All that boring stuff is out of the way. So here is your goobers. These are your guys, right? These are the what you're going to be doing combat with. So there's two modes for really controlling units. Technically three, but people don't use the command staff that often. I'll show it off, but um, your guys are going to get uh orders from you, and the way that is easy is the RTS view. RTS view is uh, a way to view both the battlefield from an eye's point of view and to control your units. Uh, left click is your select and also your deselect button. So keep that in mind. It trips me up sometimes. So you're going to hold left click and then you're going to pan over all your units and it's going to select them all as one unit. Then you can you can right click to move them. Whenever you're giving a specific attack, like or a specific thing on the left, you're going to press that button and left click the area. It is a selection. When you right click, it's going to deselect it, and then if you right click again, it's just going to move. But left click is how you actually give the command. Camera movement. Hold the right click, and then you can start moving your camera. Shift is down, space is up, WSD. Very simple. It's in the bottom left. You can do your fly speed. But yeah, it also tells you your your commands right there, right? Patrol points. These are a little weird. So you have your patrol point. In order to actually set a patrol point, we're going to shift left click the first area and then the area onwards. If you accidentally left click to get out of it, like how you do for attack, it is going to cancel that and instead give them immediately a move order. So when you're doing this, you're going to that, 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 and then you're going to stop holding shift and it is going to stop giving the patrol order, and now you can click off of them. Now, whenever you look at that unit, you're going to see that patrol. Uh, so keep that in mind whenever you're doing patrols. It's always really weird for me. So yeah. Next, we are going to give them a formation. So now these guys are now linked together. Before I could individually click on them and order them that way, but now they're linked. They're in a formation. So now all of them should be acting together on something. So now I can tell them to face that way, I can tell them to face that way, and also toggle their formation. There's a whole bunch of things in here, right? Bunch of commands and stuff. So what you can do with your formation is tell them to do different ones which you can play around with, but they have their different use cases. Like this is usually a defensive one, but I usually, for the most part, just keep them in tight. It makes it easy for me to look at all of them. And then whenever you want to make them not a formation anymore, just toggle the formation, click off of them, and all of a sudden they're now bound to themselves. So whenever I click on just one of them, it won't click on all of them. But the moment you toggle the formation back, they get back into the thing. I know some people have had questions about that, so yes, this is a very quick um, thing. Then we get into these commands. Click off that. So this is going to, wherever your cursor is, so I have this militia and that group of militia, right? So this militia can actually, when you're flying, you cannot know. So I have this guy and I have that guy. So I have choose, or hold on, select this entity or add nearby entities to selection. Or there's also choose nearby by aim, but this, if I'm pointing at this guy, is only going to select this guy. But if I do add nearby entities, it's also going to grab everyone in the area and add it to this. So now I can tell them to move. Whenever I need like literally everyone, or if you just need a specific person. But if you're going to do uh, everyone at the same time, even if you hold everyone, I can still individually click the one guy that is a part of that and the formation. They're still separate, they're just all ordered together. Makes it very easy to take out different unit compositions instead of having to sort them out later. So always make sure that when you have a big battle going on and you have a lot of units clashing together, have your formations already set up ahead of time, and you should be fine. Next, we're going to go over the squad stuff. So squads, select a unit, then you're going to create a squad. We're going to put this on team 1. So now, whenever we go on to the squad stuff, it's going to have that already set there. Now, whenever I press the key, the number on your keyboard, right? So I press the number 1, it selects that squad. Very quick, very easy. But when you reload the game, it deletes all of your squad selections. So don't expect them to stay that way. I don't know if that's been patched, but it was the last time that I tried it. So keep that in mind. Very good way for cycling between all your stuff like an actual RTS. Um, Let me see if they... Horse? All right. So this has been fixed. Uh, mounting. Mounting is very easy. There is a mount command, which I mean you could just right click when you have a unit selected and it'll just mount it. Um, only one of these guys will mount it, but horses cannot be told by themselves though. You have to have something else.
Just so you know, it does not work for some modded mounts as well. It works, I believe, with small ships. I believe YDM Sama just fixed it so you can work with small ships. I do not have it installed right now, so I couldn't show it off. Um, but when you have stuff like this, Dragon mounts remastered, right? You have a tameable dragon that you can have right on top of it, and then you can't have these guys mount. I've already tried. Very unfortunate. I hope that functionality is added in the future. Actually, I'll talk about stuff that I want added to the mod probably at the end of the video. But yeah, you cannot have them not red. Pretty much anything but horses. I think camels work as well, but yeah. All right. So I have this militia member here and this mercenary mage, right? So both of these are units that are in your army, and you go, hey, this guy kind of sucks, and this guy kind of sucks. What can I do with them? Well, you can go ahead and go to equip them with your own gear that you have crafted. It even applies the enchants what you have to this unit. So now they're fully geared out. If that weapon is enchanted, it'll take all the enchants, apply it to whatever it does. The armor is enchanted as well. Um, then inside of their menu is their combat stats. Here's your health. This is the armor. This is the armor level. So whatever you got on is gonna be applied here. The level and the kills. So the level is going to determine how much health that this unit has. This goes up by killing things. What the actual numerical value for what kills mean is so random. I've had someone with one kill and be like level 2 or 3, and someone have like 4 kills and only be level 2. Don't understand it. There's someone with 15 kills, only level 5. I was like, I have no idea what any of this means, to be honest. So it's arbitrary, and as long as they keep killing, they will get more health. That's pretty. I think they do a bit more damage as well, but pretty much it. Um, Next is the naming. So if I were to name this person, I don't know, Lily. Lily. She now has her name above her head, and you can see it when you hover over them. Uh, just only in the survival view. Here, they're just another person. Gonna tell you the unit type and all that stuff in there, but yeah, it's a really a personal thing. You have the follow feature, which you can also do with this right here. And then this. This is only if you were to pledge yourself to the Patreon. You could use a custom skin, apply it to the unit, and it's customized. So, yeah, this is a brief overview. I'll be honest, I don't really think this means anything. So, yeah. Mages. Mages are a little different. So, on top of being able to equip armor, their attributes for mage armor are applied. So, say I were to put this, I don't know, evokers, the arch evoker set on, it raises your evocation spell power. It does actually raise the evocation spell power of this unit, including the staff that it has and the spell book. The spell books are very useful because it lets you actually specify which spells are in this unit. So if I were to just pick up this guy, right? I have these pre-equipped spells. It's random what they get. It's out of like a couple of spells that they can arrive. Lightning Lance, Fireball, Chain Lightning, Magic Missile, Magic Arrow. Starfall. Uh, I think there's a couple other ones, but they get those. However, if you were to put, I don't know, the acupuncture spell in a single book and then give them this book, they only have the acupuncture spell. Also, they can. It will keep all this data inside the scroll, so you never have to worry about it. Now, when mages and archers and the like are in combat, you have to be careful where you position them. Because they like to do a shimmy. Do do do. So if I go into this view and I tell him attack this guy, oh, he's not gonna do it here. Uh, hmm. How do I show this off? See, they're going to do this shimmy that they have. And the reason I don't like this shimmy is because when they are near ledges, they tend to fall off of them because what they'll literally do is go as close to the edge of the block as they can before they actually just fall off. Um, I've had this on my wall in my YouTube series where the archers will just jump off the wall. I lost three mages to no two mages to fall damage when I was raiding the Boss's Rises dungeon. So that is no fun. So keep that in mind whenever you have uh mages out in combat. If it's a flat area, it's not really gonna matter that much. But ledges are a problem for ranged units. Melee units not as much of a problem because they just walk straight at them. But yes, keep that in mind. All right. So next, we're gonna start going over the siege machines. Um, so siege machines have a couple properties to them. They are vehicle type units that are piloted by these siege engineers, except for two at the very end, but we'll get to those later. Um, you require a siege engineer, doesn't matter what level they are. They just need one to be in it. Then, they will automatically shoot things that are hostile to you. They will turn to it and they'll fire. When a siege machine is moving, it depends on the siege machine, but some of them will disassemble if they're placed, like this bombard. The wheeled ones won't, but the bombard will. It will disassemble and it'll place itself again. But they still do follow regular unit logic. Um, Next, you have the ability to attack a position. Press V or whatever the keybind is set to, and then every time that they have available ammunition, they will fire that zone. Now, you're also able to turn on destruction mode, and that's pretty self-explanatory. It blows up blocks. And now I'm just gonna set this thing to not do anything. So, the cannon and the bombard, very similar in damage, very similar in use cases. This one will move around without disassembling itself, which means I believe it can fire. This one has to settle. Uh, this unit, I believe, is a longer range. I think it's just smaller. I think the cannon is smaller, but more accurate. Yeah, way more accurate. This guy is going to blow a hole through whatever the fuck you tell it to. So that is whatever that's what this is used for. Long range fuck you cannon. That also disassembles. Similar with the trebuchet. But this one lobs whatever it's throwing. But it is not destructive. I think this is has a little bit more range and is also destructive. Cancel. This is the start of your anti-infantry stuff. So you have a little arrow guy. This won't really attack a position. This will just defend an area. They go, all right, guy over there, I'm gonna shoot at them and do their thing. Same with this one. This one's a little weird. It'll shoot at a bunch of projectiles, but I'll either one shot them or be very inconsistent. Nest of Bees, probably your best anti-infantry weapon. I'm not gonna lie. It sends out a bunch of these tiny missiles, and it'll blow up the area. If you have about 3 of them, you probably won't have a problem. They fire for a long time. Feels good fun. Battering ram. This is a different kind of unit. Uh, these are both siege machines that are used for protecting your units while trying to uh, attack a place. So, if I tell it to attack this position, it is then going to get into position, and then it is going to maul it to death. But there isn't really a wall here. Let me set up a wall. So, I go, hey, remove this. Boom. It's gonna do it again. It's just gonna keep going until it's been removed. And that is one way of getting your stuff in. It has a passenger count of 8. It'll tell you what is inside there, and it's 50 health. So it will get your stuff to that location. Now, the enemy has walls. What you can do is you can have your units inside of this thing, and it's gonna go, hey, I can unload my passengers wherever it says, even if it's high up in the air. And now we'll demonstrate a little higher. Right now we're going to tell it to unload the passenger right here. Yep, that's how you're sieging walls. However, be careful whenever using this. If the enemy has a roof, you're fucked, because you're gonna place it on there, and then in order to get down, you probably have to get off of a spiked wall. So what you do, because I remember seeing this online, uh, where in the Discord, what you're going to do is you're going to have one of your siege machines that were the ones that can destroy it attack the roof of the wall that you're targeting. Once that roof is blown up, then you send in your siege tower, or it's already there, and then you're going to unload your soldiers onto that archer wall, and then start pillaging. So that's how I recommend you start raiding like that. Um, this I recommend probably loading on ships, like your aeronautic ships. Or if you need some firepower, maybe one of these. Try to like blow holes into things, but this is more anti-infantry. Um, Once again, very big anti-fuck you weapon. This is a anti-infantry weapon that is for hitting over walls. This is a really long range fuck you thing that goes over walls. Anti-infantry, 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 and then troop protection. And now there is some other things in the mod that we can cover as well. That thing being the other races. So there is a couple other races, and they have some of them unique properties to them. The zombies are your infantry guys. They're basic. The swift zombies are fast. They cost more, so it makes sense. But if you're gonna be recruiting zombies anyway, might as well just get a swift zombie. Skeleton warrior, uh, they're skeletons. Yep. And the wither skeletons will apply wither on hit. So these guys are probably better than the swift zombies if you want to attack people. This is your only cavalry, so have fun. Uh, skeleton siege injury, kind of baller, not gonna lie. So your special units, your horses for which you need to spawn in for your army, for your mounted combat. You have a giant. The giant's cool. Um, it is just a giant. If I were to bring it out, it's 500 HP. What is actually the recruitment cost of this? Uh, undead giant. It's a little expensive to grab one of these, and I believe you can put armor on them too. Yeah, these things could be fucking armored. So load your most overpowered shit on this thing and just run it at the enemy. It'll work out. Trust me. Then, as a admin, you can also press middle button and you can spawn it as a hostile. All of a sudden, things aren't going to be as friendly to it. And the reason why the other and the reason why these other races matter for uh, other purposes is because these are your NPC factions that you typically want. I mean, you can recruit from them, yeah, but these are for the most part what people are going to be using for setting up the custom structures that people have set up. So the spawn tables, you're going to put those in there. Um, or you're going to have custom raids that are going to be done by your admins or whoever. And that's what this selection is for. The elves basically don't exist. They're there. That's they don't even have any siege weapons, so this you I mean you're just getting your normal siege weapons out of the mercenary tab, so that's about it. They're the bandits have some interesting. So they'll have the I forget which one it is. It's either the raider or the executioner. I think it's the executioner. This guy can spin in a circle and attack everyone in that area. That was cool to find out. I think this is literally just angry dog. I believe these guys blow up walls. So yeah. Um, I think uh, I think that's everything pretty much for a basic overview of the 100-Year War mod. I know there's a lot of information in this review. There's a lot going on, but at the same time, there's not too much complication. If you just sit down and try to play the mod yourself, you're gonna realize, oh, okay, it's not too bad. You're gonna spawn a couple guys, go, okay, I kind of understand how I'm gonna uh, order these guys around, and you're gonna get better at it as you play around with it. This is just to help you along to make sure that you kind of know what each thing does before you actually go ahead and do it. And now we're going to get to my final segment of the video, features that I personally want to see added into the mod, or things that I want fixed. Alright, let's get into probably my most requested feature that I've been asking for, and that is a custom unit cap. Uh,
when you have all of these things on a normal Minecraft world with a whole bunch of other mods, whatever you have installed, you're gonna have a lot of people around. Uh, you have the siege machines out and ready. You're gonna have the ability to have big armies. Like I know people wanting to like clash against like hundreds of units, but that is just not feasible. When you actually get in an area with anything more than I want to say around 70 units, the game you can definitely notice that the game starts to lag a little bit. Like it'll start to chug. Um, it's just there's a lot of things going on in the way that the game processes information. These all have their own separate MBT data on like what they're carrying, and so it it reads that every tick, and it also reads their orders, right? Because right now they're in an idle state, but at any point I could be telling them to go somewhere, or I could be telling them to do a group of things. So you really have to like think that they're doing a lot of things in the background that you're not thinking about. They're also looking for hostile enemies that when they enter the area, they immediately start attacking them. There's a lot going on. So you have to be understanding when there's a lot of units in an area, it's going to start to lag. So Uh, I know that you can ask people to not spawn over a certain amount of units, but a hard cap is a lot more easily enforceable than politely asking someone, "Hey, do not spawn more than 30 people." So that is the first thing that I ask about. The next thing is unit pathing for ranged combatants while in combat. They move so much. They do their wiggles. They like to like back off the enemies. I understand that like that is intentional. They will back off of from the enemies so they can keep casting spells or shooting at them. Uh, but falling off of walls is not what I think is intentional. They have repeatedly fallen off of staircases, off of walls, random ledges, just to like get a better shot. Like they'll move forward. If like an archer's on a wall, it'll move forward towards the enemy and fall off in order to shoot them. But the whole point, if they don't have a line of sight, is they'll just shoot up. I don't know. That I feel like that needs to be worked on. Um, and then the final thing is like a less of like something I desperately want and more of like it would be cool if it actually happened. The RTS feature is a very, very cool feature. I hope that it gets implemented with its own support for modded mobs. I want to be able to target them, like I just be able to target them if given a like a tag or something and control them. Uh like so say I have as an admin uh its own menu and I go boom, I select all of these mobs and I'm looking at all of them and I have this like here and I do that and it's going to highlight them. Then I can press a button and be like boom, I add them as a 100-year war uh, uh NPC. Now I can control them like a 100-year war mob. And then you don't even have to get rid of their AI. Uh You just have to be able to tell them where they're going. And then where they get from that destination is what they're going to do to attack. Uh, I imagine there's a lot of clashing that is going to happen with that kind of mod support. It's more of like a hopeful request than actually suggesting it. But I think that would be a really cool DM tool if you were to do like custom role-playing sessions. Because the amount of like cinematics or videos that people could do if they could control a little bit more of what the monsters can do would be fantastic. I know we have stuff like custom NPCs for that, um, but it's not quite the actual monster that is there. So yeah, At the end of all of this, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate all of you for sticking around this long. I know it's a long video because there's a lot of stuff to cover. And I will see you guys next time. Thank you.